Biology, i.e. beating foam. 4 a.m., laminar flow again keeps me awake. Where does biology come from here? It's simple, there would be no life without laminar flow. So bio. Pontaray is our friend, Mr. Tari used to say. And if everything flows, where is life here? I tell. Every rule has exceptions, or else there is no rule without exception. Laminar flow is the flow of a river where all spaghetti flow parallel to each other. There are no whirlpools or intersections of these streams. And here comes life, i.e. the exception to the rule. But when something begins to whirl and loop, creating a separate, rotating, even for a moment, a moving object. Now biology or beating foam. There is such a theory, not very popularized but correct. It is called the membrane theory. It says that life was possible because there were balloons separating something from the rest of the soup. If there was a stable vortex in the balloon, moving in its spin, and all this surrounded by a membrane, then what? What's next? It was the driven whirling parts of the vortex in the balloon that could react with each other more quickly. The membrane protected against decay and forced the internal substances to act, whatever they were, with each other. Sometimes releasing something from the balloon through the membrane or sometimes absorbing something inside. The film of balloons, which is permeable to some substances and not to others, is the basis of everything. How a very general film is built: imagine a soap bubble. So we have some soap particles in a water solution. And they form pairs with each other in such a way that each soap molecule has a hydrophilic end, and a water repellent or hydrophobic end. The pairs of soap molecules are arranged next to each other with these ends of legs to heads, heads to heads, so the ends of the felt side by side, and the phobic ends together too. Long rows form like railroad tracks, and then many railroads side by side. Now, of course, water is repelled from the hydrophobic surfaces, and instead, it is attracted and collected on the side of the surface formed by the hydrophilic heads. We already have a targeted, functional machine that cannot be avoided, and self-repairing. It recreates and develops itself. Is it already alive? If you cut it smaller, it will continue to rebuild and work. Is this breeding already? She knows what to do and does it. So is her function of machine water sorting already thinking? Well, no, but it's a self-repairing machine. What's next? Where's that soap bubble film? Well, what happens is that the hydrophobic surfaces remain on the outside of the film, and inside we have water held on both sides between the hydrophilic surfaces. That is, the film looks like this in section. The important thing here is that such a film repels the external water and does not let out the water collected inside the bubble. And the strangest thing is that it is itself held by water bound between two water-loving layers made of soaps of particles arranged by ordinary electrostatic forces, because there is no chemical reaction between them, nor between water particles. Thus, such a film can retain water, but it can pass, for example, fats or metals. The film itself may contain admixtures, for example, soap stains. The most important thing, in order for the soap bubble and any other membrane bubble to exist, you need an internal pressure, in example, a veer, which is the exception to the rule. Because when the river flow is laminar, it is death, or rather, biological stillness. Only vortices and membranes create life. The cell is a membranous city, it should be understood as such. A cell is like a walled city, with gates opening to Na+, K+, H+, EATP, ADP, and H2O, and P is independent phosphorus. Behind the gates is the endoplasmic reticulum, something that hardly anyone talks about and is the most important thing in the cell. It is a maze of streets and inlets. There are highways between mitochondria to ribosomes, and bridges and a checkpoint where they check documents. There are also vacuoles, water lakes that act as garbage dumps, where all those poisons that cannot be excreted out through membranes fall and are stored. And the main lock in the form of a cell nucleus. The organs in a cell are called organelles. They all send energy and pulsate with their rhythm until a spindle forms in the womb, signaling the division. Then the DNA is reproduced with the help of a key, i.e. a single half of the standard RNA, as well as the division of the entire bubble into new, less tired and less cluttered cells. Of course, all the time the bubble through the membranes and the endoplasmic reticulum communicates with the outside, absorbing energy and expelling its secrets through the door in the membrane. This state is called secret. The cell sweats as if, but can also shoot energy or chemicals that it has to get rid of. Okay, no more talking, I'm going to sleep. Anyway, without membranes and internal turbulence or pressure, no chance of life. I will also tell you this later. I will show you that the diet consists of what we like, not what is fashionable. Until next time.